So we are done with the video. Okay, I believe you have at least caught what are the three states of matter that the person was talking about. Anybody has any idea what the three states of matter are that you need to know? Yes, Chesley?
Liquid.
Sorry?
Liquid.
What are the three states of matter? Or name any that you know. Yeah? Name any state that you know. Can you remember? Cheslyn?
Yeah, let me type in the chat. It's ready.
Okay. Okay, so she said liquid. What are the other two states? Anybody? Shriyasi?
The other two states are solid and gas.
Very good. So we have liquid, solid, and gas. So these are the three states of matter that we're going to look at today. Okay, I'm going to start off with this PowerPoint slide to introduce you, okay, to what you need to know, okay, about these three states of matter. After we are done with these slides, okay, I will go into the question section. So we will be looking at some MCQ and some open-ended questions to test your knowledge and to test whether you understand what I'm teaching today. Give me a minute, let me drag it over. Okay, so all these slides will be sent to you at the end of today's lesson. By tomorrow, okay? So if you don't want to take down notes, it's okay. All right, just pay attention. Pay very close attention. Okay, so you notice that in the video, whenever Dr. Binox tried to introduce you to the matter, he always mentions two things. He always mentions weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, and space, S-P-A-C-E. Do you all recall that? He says, oh, this thing has weight. The water has weight. It takes up space. So you need to know that all matter, every single kind of matter, solid, liquid, and gas, they must have mass and they must occupy space. So this thing, matter, in order to know whether something is a matter or not, it must have mass and it must occupy space. What is mass? Mass is weight. Okay? What is occupy space? Basically, when we talk about an object occupying space, we are talking about its volume. Everybody know what is weight and what is volume? Anybody do not know? Raise your hand. We all familiar with weight and volume? Can? Okay? Okay, so let me now ask you all to name some examples of matter. Okay, Chongse, can you give me an example of matter? Something that's a matter. Anything.
Water.
Very good. Let's ask Kayla. Tyler, can you give me an example of a matter?
Air.
Good. So just now, Chongzhen mentioned water that is in liquid state. Tyler mentioned air that is in gaseous state. So these are some other examples. Wind, soil, water. So wind is actually moving air. Okay, so this is considered a gas. Now, some examples of non-matter. Please remember, in the exams, the MCQ questions like to ask, which of the following are not matter? So if you look at light, shadow, thunder, all these things does not have mass, they don't have any weight, and they do not have any volume. They do not occupy space. Okay, are we clear? Are we good with the examples? Can we move on? Wensing okay? Michaela okay? Okay, good. Let's move on. Okay, let's talk about volume now. What is volume? Volume is the measure okay, of the amount of space that an object takes up. So it's the measure of the amount of space that an object occupies. What is the units for volume? You should know this. Meter cube, cm cube, liters or milliliters. Okay, so if we were to talk about your water bottle that you bring to school, okay, if it's a normal water bottle, usually that's about 250 ml. Okay, so that is volume. How much space the water occupies. Are we clear? Are we good? Okay, in the next slide, we will talk about how to measure volume. Okay, so for objects with a regular shape, for example, this cube that we see here, okay, to measure its volume, we can use a math formula. We take the length times the breadth times the width. Very easy. 6 times 6 times 6. Okay, so please remember, if the object has a regular shape, we can use math to solve the volume. But if it does not have a regular shape, this is how we measure its volume. First, we have a container or a measuring cylinder. This is a measuring cylinder, okay, with 150 ml of water. Then we want to measure the volume of this nail. So what do? Inside this empty container or this empty measuring cylinder, we put the nail in. Now the new volume is at 180 milliliters. Okay, let's use cm cube. So who can tell me what is the volume of the nail? Anybody has any idea? What is the volume of the nail? Initially, without the nail, it is 150 cm cube. After I put the nail in, the water rises to 180 cm cube. What do you think is the volume? Wen-Xing? Wen-Xing, you know or you don't know? Want to try? Not sure, is it? Wen-Xing, you're not sure? Okay, Michaela, how about you? What do you think is the volume of the nail? Michaela, how much did the water rise because of the nail? Michaela, can you speak into the mic? How long did the water rise because of the nail? I mean, how much did the water rise because of the nail? Look, how much did the water rise? And Kayla, can you answer my question? How much did the water rise? How do I find the difference, Michaela?
Minus
Huh? What minus what?
180 minus 150.
Very good. So this is the amount of water rising. 180 cm cube minus 150 cm cube. So that is 30 cm cube. Correct, Michaela? So this is the volume of the nail. Everybody, the nail caused the water to rise 30 cm cube, which means the nail is 30 cm cube. Wen-Xing, do you understand? Cheslin, are you paying attention? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Cheslin, you understand? Sheslyn, do you understand or you don't understand? Okay, good. So basically what just happened, okay, is that I determine the volume of this object by measuring the volume of water it displaced. The change in the amount of water. What do I mean by displace? This is a very important word. You will see it all the time in this topic. Displace is when something takes the position, takes the space or place that was previously occupied by another object. So imagine now, Sheslyn is sitting on the chair, right? You're sitting on the chair, right? And then it so happens that Wen-Xing comes over and pushes her off the chair, and Wen-Xing sits down on Sheslyn's chair. So when that happens, it means that Wen-Xing has displaced Sheslyn. Because initially Sheslyn was sitting on the chair, then Wen-Xing come and push her off and take over her space. So this is what displace means. Do we understand, Michaela, Shreyasi? Do we understand? Ken? So basically the nail, okay, dropped into the water. It took over the space occupied by the water, causing the water level to go up. So how do I find the volume of an object with that I don't know? I can't use a mathematical formula. I use the displacement method. Okay, so the object goes into a beaker of water. It displaces the water level upwards. All right. Now, there is another way to measure displacement. If you look, this nail is quite small. Okay. If I have a larger object like a rock, what do? I take a beaker here. All right. I fill the water to this level, directly at this level. So you see the snout here, this level. Okay. And then this is empty to start with. And then I am going to put my rock in. That's step number 2. And when my rock goes in, okay, it displaces the water out into the measuring cylinder. So the volume of the rock will be this volume. Do we understand? Are we okay? So this is another method to measure the volume of a larger object that I do not know that cannot be used, that the volume cannot be used to find using a mathematical formula. Okay, Kyla, Chongze, we understand? So this is displacement. I repeat, the rock displaces the water out of the beaker into the measuring cylinder. So this water collected will be the volume of the rock. Because the rock takes up space, it occupies space. Okay, so we are done with volume. You know what is volume. You know how to find the volume of an object. We will now look at mass. Okay, what is mass? Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Okay, so an object, the amount of things inside that object. Okay, the amount of, what am I doing? Sorry. So I'll do the amount of matter inside an object. What are the units we use? Grams or kg. Easy. Okay? How do I measure the mass of an object? As you can see just now, the balloon, remember? He said how I measure the mass. I inflate one balloon and I have one deflated balloon. Then the scale will tilt.